like it's kind of funny. Like after years of being like a show person and playing shows, like I still get horrible stage fright. I get what they call red light syndrome, where you push record and then you fuck up while you're playing, or like I'll like have something that I'm gonna say to a crowd of people or something, then I'll just totally botch it. Like, and I was like, so I'm trying to think of like, because it's I don't know, it's hard to think about being like, hi, I'm Grayson, and I'm blah blah blah, you know, like. My name is Grayson Connolly. I really appreciate this opportunity. I want to thank Rex and Tomas for, taking the time to do this with me and taking the time to listen to my music and share it with people. All right. Presentation will scratch me itch. Reads like a scholar, but she spells like a witch. And I know she's leaving, but I don't know how soon. I'm going through the motions till I float away on the spoon. You fool me once, will you fool me twice? Sharp like a fork, but you're dull like a knife. And I know you're leaving, but I don't know how soon. I'm going through the motions till I fall down on the spoon. I thought by now I'd be jumping over the moon, or flying high away on a heart-shaped hot air balloon. Well, you thought you'd go to heaven, but the rapture was fixed. Now you're scratching like a dog, you're barking like a bitch. And I know you're leaving, but I don't know how soon. I'm tired of chasing potions, so I'd rather float away on a spoon. But now I'd be jumping over the moon, or flying high away on a heart-shaped hot air balloon. Well, you thought you'd go to heaven, but the rapture was fixed. Now you're scratching like a dog, you're barking like a bitch. And I know you're leaving, but I don't know how soon. I'm going through the motions till I fall down on the spoon. I'm tired of chasing potions, so I'd rather float away on a spoon. Something like that. I grew up in New York, off the coast of Connecticut, on a small little island called Fisher's Island that has like a population of like 200 in the wintertime. So like when I was in elementary school, my grade was me, two other girls. The grade above me was one kid, and the grade above that was my older brother and one other kid. And it was like that from preschool until 6th grade. And then I moved to Connecticut, where I went to like public school, regular public school with like a bunch of kids. But also growing up on the island, being all isolated, like my parents also spent half the time in New York City. My mom's like a ballet teacher and a Pilates instructor. My dad used to like make metal sculptures and do carpentry and stuff. So it's like we weren't just totally isolated on this weird little island. We were like half the time in like New York City, just firing on all cylinders, and then I was like completely isolated on this island. So
Wow. And boy, you had artist parents.
yeah, artist parents, they've been really supportive and cool, and like, well, my mom has really. She's been like my best friend for the last couple of years, definitely. She's been really supportive and helpful through these, like, it hasn't been the easiest last 4 or 5 years, but
Yeah, because of your homelessness.
yeah, being homeless and living in my van and getting all my windows smashed out, getting all my guitars stolen, guitars smashed, like.
Yeah, and I learned that you guys talk every day.
Who?
You and your mom.
Oh yeah, we talk every day.
Yeah, that's, I mean, I'm just going to say, meeting people, thousands of people that are living homeless, I've never heard that.
Really?
Never.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's pretty unusual.
Well, I didn't talk to her for like 4 days last year because someone stole my phone, and she actually put out like a missing persons report on me because she was like, "That's so weird. He usually would call me from someone's phone, but it's really hard to. If you're in Seattle, you go up to someone and you're like, 'Hey, can I borrow your phone?' They're like, 'No,' you know." So I just couldn't get a hold of her for 4
Good
days.
job, Seattle.
Yeah, I know. And she was like, she called the cops. They had like come check and make sure I was alive and stuff. And I was like, I'm fine. I'm just. But yeah, that's how.
They said, call your mom.
Yeah, that's pretty much. I think they left a note on my car that said, "Call your mom." But yeah, so that's how frequently I talk to her. It's like every day. And it started kind of. I don't know. I take a lot of pride in the way that I dress and stuff, and so like one of the things I do is I send her a picture of what I'm wearing every day, because she thinks, I don't know, she's a supportive artist parent, you know, so she's always been supportive of me doing my own thing. I've always had super long hair, always like worn really tight pants, and even growing up on that weird isolated island, I remember the first time I ever wore like tight pants. I went to my friend's house and their whole family like made fun of me for it, but it never stopped me from doing what I do, or like, you know. I went walking by the sun, melted wings that come undone, tumbled down below the pines, down to where the sun don't shine, frozen with the dew of spring, empty heart and broken wing. There she sits, the sparrow sings, with the song of broken dreams. 'Cause time is like a rose to a thorn, placed upon a crown you have gracefully adorned. And death is like a moth drawn to a flame in the dark, broken wing and empty heart. Weeping willow, broken branch, knew I'd never stand a chance. Bodies laid upon the grass, drift away as time will pass. All this time you sit and weep, fleeting thoughts on pillows sleep, just to sing a joyful tune, sing beneath the pale blue moon. 'Cause time is like a rose to a thorn, placed upon a crown you have gracefully adorned. And death is like a moth drawn to a flame in the dark, broken wing and empty heart. Death that rides on broken wings, never hear the angels sing. Goodbye with a tender kiss, warm hello to emptiness. 'Cause time is like a rose to a thorn, placed upon a crown you have gracefully adorned. And death is like a moth drawn to a flame in the dark, broken wing and empty heart.
That's
Band
beautiful.
keeps going out of tune. Banjos are hard because they're like so temperamental, you know. Does it sound okay?
Sounds beautiful to me. I might not be the right person to ask, but I love that song.
Thank you. Yes, there's like this old joke about banjos because they're like always going out of tune. Like musicians are always joking about banjos, and it's like you hear about the guy that had 2 banjos in his car, and he came downstairs and his windows were smashed out, and he thought the worst had happened, and he goes and he looks in his car and there's 3 banjos in there. So this song is actually an old like 1920s like jug band song that I like took the first verse from, and then I just kind of like ran with it and like wrote some song after that, but pull inspiration from weird places. Well, my mama bought a rooster 'cause she thought it was a duck. She took it to the table with the legs straight up. Come on now with your spoon and your glass. Come and get the gravy 'cause it runs out fast. Well, I'm going down to Bleecker Street. That's where the men and the women they meet. That's where the men they tangle till they're sore, and the women fall in line to shovel in through the outdoor. But who is gonna make you cry when I'm gone? Who's gonna knock you down when I'm out on the run? And who will you blame when you bled me dry to the bone? I'll be your cannon fodder if you be my wilted rose. They say everything that hurts you, you know someday will pass. When I say get the gravy, I make them grab the cash and run. Run away, ain't nothing good for you if you stay. My sister caught a westbound on a one-way train. My best friend took the easy road, a bullet to the brain. I taped a bottle to my hand and tried to kill the pain, but just ended up looking like a fool. And I can't remember the best times of my life. I got a ball and chain with both sides of the knife, and I'm in love with misery 'cause she's my wife, but at least she'll never leave me alone. 'Cause who's gonna make you cry when I'm gone? Who's gonna knock you down when I'm on the run? And who will you blame when you bled me dry to the bone? I'll be your foolish lover if you'll be my jelly roll.
you grew up on this isolated island. You visited New York, and then when did you end up leaving on your own? Assuming did you graduate from high school? Did you go
No, I got a GED as a present to my mother.
Good job.
Yeah, because I didn't have a really good time in high school. I got beat up a lot. I went to like this redneck high school in Connecticut, and I had no friends there. My older brother was like my only friend there, and he's like, he doesn't really like stick up for himself even. So like I was kind of on my own there, but I love him regardless. But he's like, but then, so like I didn't have a very good time in high school, and then we moved to New London from Ledyard. It was like a redneck country area. We moved to New London, which is like an urban city area. And I got arrested and a bunch of stuff happened, and my mom was like, all right, you had a bad enough time in the country. I'm not gonna force you to go to school in like this like urban neighborhood. So she let me drop out. But she always was like, she put me into like a photography school in New York City called ICP, the International Center of Photography in Manhattan. And she always made sure to like support my creative whatever I'm doing, you know, like even now when I'm like, maybe I'll make $1 million one day playing music. She's like, that would be sweet, you know. She doesn't ever. I remember when I first did get on the road, I was 21, but you asked me that, but for a long time she would ask me like, so what are you gonna do if this music thing doesn't work out? And it was really frustrating, like in my teenage years and stuff. And then I told her one time, I was like, if I don't put 100% of my energy into doing what I do and being creative and stuff, then I'm gonna like put it on the back burner, and it's never gonna be something that I like fully pursue. And after that, she stopped asking me that question. There's a bird on a wire singing songs about you when I look away. But I can't say I don't think about it when I see your face in a puddle on a street in a city. It's making me insane. I'm going back to my old ways of forgetting everything, and I'm sorry to say that I miss you. Don't ever think that I'm much more than what I've become, and I don't think that you ever expected me to be. There are some things we might never understand, so I'm leaving myself, leaving my head lonely and free. Lonely and free. Breaking down every piece of what you've done, it makes no sense at all. I like it anyway. Getting swept under the rug when you last looked, but maybe I'm just crying wolf. And I took every hand I shook as a blessing or a curse. Never trust anyone is what you learn. As far as we're concerned, better off a vision than a blur. Than a blur. Breaking down every piece of what I've done, it makes no sense at all. I like it anyways. dog on a corner barking songs about you when I cross the street. And I can't admit that I'm lonely. Traded my only hope for $1 and a place to sleep. And it's a privilege to be hopelessly hopeful at the end of the day when I know you're okay. And sweet dreams, sweet dreams. Breaking down every piece of what we know. It makes no sense at all. I like it anyways. And I'm just hoping next time you'll stay. Breaking down every piece of what we know. It makes no sense at all. I like it anyways. And I'm just hoping next time you'll stay.
When did you start playing music? Like when did your interest first arrive?
That's a weird question. Well, my parents really love music. You know, my mom's a dancer, and my dad, although he is tone deaf, he's a fantastic harmonica player, and he's completely shameless. He'll just sing loudly and off key. So they were singing and playing music my whole childhood, and then there were always instruments around. And then when I was like 10 or 11, they got my brother a guitar, and they got me like some drums or something. And they were like, you guys can like, they got me drum lessons, they got him guitar lessons. I just picked up the guitar and like just advanced at it faster. He started playing bass. We had like a little band when we were like on the island with some kids, and like our friend Sam's uncle played the drum for us. I think we played one show. The guy who they got his lessons from was this crazy dude named Tony Brennan. He would always tick back and forth like a metronome whenever he was talking to anyone. And he, instead of teaching us like music theory and like the curriculum of like a regular guitar class, he was like, I'm just going to teach them whatever they want to learn. And then like 6 months into us getting, I only took guitar lessons for like a year maybe, and 6 months in, he was like, your kids are like excelling way faster than any of my other students at like playing the guitar. Like they're definitely like my best students. And so, I don't know, I've always just like learned kind of differently. The place that I really grew up was like, there's this alleyway in Connecticut, in Mystic, Connecticut, called Peacock Alley, and there's a coffee shop called the Green Marble. Next to that, there was a record store called the Mystic Disc. And that is where that's where I really got into music. That's where I found all my friends. That's where I found like my community of people. I tell people that Dan, the owner of the record store, is my real dad, because I remember one time I said something, and he like whipped me into shape. He was like, "You can't say that." Like, he taught me how to like be like a stand-up guy, I guess. Because we'd always hang out outside the record store. We'd spit on the bricks, and he'd be like, "You can't spit on the bricks. That's not like how you act as a human being, you know." I used to joke with people and be like, your guys' parents should really pay Dan and Richie like babysitting fees, because there's 14 kids down here, and they're the ones that are teaching us like, you know, not to spit on the ground, not to like be rude and like be polite. Richie used to draw chalk lines on the ground, and he'd be like, you guys need to stand outside of the chalk line so customers can walk through. And we'd call him Bitchy Richie, because he would always be like, hey, you damn kids. And then,
Is he still alive?
oh yeah, he's like 40, in his 40s or
Yeah.
50s or
Do
something.
you talk to him?
Yeah, I talk to Richie and Dan, not as frequently as I maybe should, but like every time I go back to Mystic, I go to the Mystic Disc, to see him and stuff. And I remember a couple years ago, I went back there, and I always have a key to the disc. Like I've always had one since I started working there. And he'll tell people he's like an old Jewish guy that's like has no shame. He'll just like scream at customers and stuff. And like I remember I went in the store a couple years ago, and he was like, "This is a good kid." He's yelling at the customers. But I went back there a couple years ago, and he was like, "Hey, I changed the locks. Here's a key, so you can still have one." And
That's
I was
beautiful.
Like, I was like, "That's really cool." And he was like, "I used to sleep in the record store because like being a kid, like running away from home and doing stupid things, So he was like, "Here's a key in case you ever need to sleep in the store again." And I was like, "I think my days of sleeping in the store are over, Dan." And then that night, I got stuck in Mystic, and I ended up sleeping in the store. The song's called "Sleeping Under the Moon." Louisiana, bound on a train. I got my back towards the wind and the rain. Clothes in a sack and I can't complain when I'm sleeping under the moon. Not a worry, you sent to my name. Still I'm going on just the same. And I'm dreaming away this terrible pain when I'm sleeping under the moon. You don't gotta worry, I'm not in a hurry to drift off to sleep. When the tides get pulled by the sea, well, the moonlight's taking the best of me. Pocket of matches, whiskey and rye, the only one that should watch me cry. And I don't need a lover by my side when I'm sleeping under the moon. Troubled times got the best of my heart, driving down the road to find a new start. And even though we might be worlds apart, I'm still sleeping under the moon. You don't gotta worry, I'm not in a hurry to drift off to sleep. When the tides get pulled by the sea, well, the moonlight's taking the best of me. When I get lonesome, I never cry. The ones I lost, but I never say goodbye. But I know you're always by my side when I'm sleeping under the moon. Sleeping under the moon. Sleeping